Good evening students. Last class we have seen the male reproductive system. So in this class now we are going to discuss about the female reproductive system. Female reproductive system is more complex than the male. Why we are saying a male reproductive system, they can produce the male gamete alone, but female reproductive system they can produce the gamete formation and they need to give the nurse to the developing embryo. So it is little more complex than the male. Then the female reproductive system comprises of a pair of ovaries. It is present in a pair of ovaries. Okay, so pair of ovaries, along the ovaries it is present in the oviducts, then uterus, then cervix, okay, then vagina. So these are the parts of the female reproductive system. Then in these parts fully it is located in the pelvic region. Along these parts, then another one of the part that is known as the mammary gland. So mammary glands also structurally and functionally they can support the process of the ovulation. What is the meaning of ovulation? Release of ovum from the ovaries, that is known as the ovulation, and fertilization. So fusion of the gametes, fertilization, then pregnancy, childbirth and child care. So these process for what mammary glands also structurally and functionally they can support the female reproductive system. Then ovaries are the primary female reproductive sex organ. They can produce the female gamete, that is the ovum. Then ovaries are located on either side, on each side of the lower abdomen. Then the ovaries are elliptical structures, elongated structures about 2 to 4 centimeters long. Then each ovary it is covered by a cuboidal epithelial cells. Okay, that cuboidal germinal epithelial cells are known as they can cover in this ovarian stroma. These internal parts are known as the stroma. So this ovarian stroma it is covered by a germinal epithelium. That germinal epithelium it is made up of a cuboidal cells. Then the stroma it is differentiated into outer cortex and inner medulla. This region it is the outer cortex region. This region it is known as the inner medulla. Then below that germinal epithelium it is covering. Below that the germinal epithelium, the very outermost layer, that layer it is made up of a connective tissues that is known as the tunica albuginea. Already we have seen in the male reproductive system. The testis it is covered by, outer covering it is covered by tunica albuginea. So like that this ovarian structure, this ovarian stroma it is made up of a glandular epithelium. Then it is covered by a thin layer of cells that is made up of a connective tissues. That connective tissues are known as the tunica albuginea. Then the cortex it is appear dense and granular due to the presence of, when we are seeing the cortex region it is present in a very dense layer. Dense பார்க்கிறதுக்கு ரொம்ப அடர்த்தியா இருக்கும். Why we are saying in a dense? So it is present in a granular due to the presence of a ovarian follicles. Okay, so ovarian follicles are present. So ovarian follicles, ovum is present like this. This ovum it is covered by like this the structure. That structures are known as the ovarian follicles. So this follicles fully it is present in a dense granule like this granule of ovarian follicles it is covered. It is surrounded by the outer cortex region. From these follicles then the ovum they can mature, rupture this follicle cells, granular follicular cells, then they can come outside, the process of ovulation. So this outer cortex region it is present in a dense granular ovarian follicles. Then different stages and development of ovarian follicles are present. So it is look like a dense, this cortex region. The next one is the medulla. So in inner medulla it is present in the, it is made up of a loose connective tissues. Then inside that medulla it is present in abundant blood vessels, lymphatic vessels and nerve fibers are present. Blood vessels, lymphatic vessels and nerve fibers are present inside the medulla. Okay, then the ovary it is attached to the pelvic wall and the uterus by a ovarian ligaments. this ovary, it is attached to the pelvic wall and it is attached to the uterus. That is known as the ovarian filament. That ovarian filament, it is known as the mesovarium. These ovaries, with the help of the oviduct, they can attach into the pelvic region and then in a uterus. Okay, with the help of the ligaments, ovarian ligaments attachment. Okay, ovarian ligaments. That ovarian ligaments are known as the mesovarium. 1, 2 mark or 3 mark question. So the ovaries attached to the pelvic wall and the uterus by the ovarian ligaments, that is known as the mesovarium. The next is the fallopian tube. This structure, this is known as the fallopian tube. So the fallopian tubes, uterus and vagina constitute the female accessory organ. This fallopian tube and then in this vagina and then in this uterus. Okay. So fallopian tube, uterus and vagina, these are the accessory organ. This ovary is the primary organ. Fallopian tube, uterus and vagina is the accessory female reproductive organs. So each fallopian tube, it extends. Fallopian tube, this is the fully is known as a fallopian tube. This fallopian tube, it is extend. Okay, it is extend from the periphery. So peripheral region of the ovary, it is extend, then they can attach into the each side of the uterus, either side of the uterus. So this is one side, this another one side. So this fallopian tube extends peripheral regions of the ovary, then they can attach into the either side of the uterus. Okay, then this proximal part of the fallopian tube features a funnel shaped structure. These funnel shaped structures are known as the infundibulum. So this fallopian tube, the proximal part, it is extend, it is look like a funnel shaped structures. So this funnel shaped structure is known as the infundibulum. Then the edge of the infundibulum, it is present like a number of many finger like projections. These finger like projections are known as fimbriae. Okay, so proximal portion, this is look like a funnel shaped structures, infundibulum. Then at edge of this infundibulum, it is present in a number of many finger like projections. That finger like projections are known as the fimbriae. This fimbriae, it is help for the collection of a ovum in the process of ovulation. So here for what that follicle cells, they can release the ovum. That ovum, it is collected by the fimbriae. Release, they can come outside in the process of ovulation. Ovum, they can come outside. This fimbriae, they can collect the ovum. Then this infundibulum, they can extend into the wider region. This wider region is known as the ampulla. This wider region is known as the ampulla. Then this is the center part of a fallopian tube. This ampulla is the center part of the fallopian tube. Then next, the last part of the fallopian tube is known as the isthmus. Okay, this isthmus is a short, thick walled structure. This structure, they can connecting the for water. This ampulla, then infundibulum into the uterus. This infundibulum ampulla, it is connected into the uterus with the help of a thin tube-like structure, that is known as the isthmus. Okay, can you understand, students? Then next, uterus. Now we are going to see this uterus. So this uterus is a uterus, or we can say in a womb. It is a hollow structure. This structure, it is made up of a thick walled, muscular and highly vascular and inverted beer shaped structure. You can see this picture. Okay, this is the uterus. So this uterus, it is a for what? Uterus, or we can say in a womb, it is a hollow, thick walled, muscular, highly vascular. It is inverted inside. It is present inside. Inverted beer-shaped structure. It is present in the pelvic cavity, hip region. It is present in the pelvic cavity in between the urinary bladder and the rectum. Digestive system, rectum. Then reproductive system, urinary bladder. So in between the urinary bladder and the rectum, this beer-shaped hollow cavity, that is known as the uterus, are located. Okay, so the major portion and then of the uterus, that is the body of the uterus, it is rounder region. Okay, it is rounded region. In the superior portion it is present in the rounded region. Okay, this region it is otherwise known as fundus. Okay, this major portion as superior it is present in a rounded region. That rounded region it is known as the fundus. Okay, so the uterus it is open through the vagina with the help of a narrow canal that is known as the cervix. Okay, this part it is known as the cervix. The cervix they can open into the vagina. That canal it is known as the cervical canal. Okay, see this picture. Uterus, this region it is known as the cervix. Then the cervix it is uterus they can open into the canal. This canal it is known as the cervical canal. This is the vagina. This is the main female copulatory organ. It extends into the exterior genitalia. Okay, it is open into the outside of the body. Okay, they can open through this vagina only. For what sperm they can enter. Okay, enter. Then the cavity of the cervix it is present in the canal. That canal they can communicate with the vagina through the external orifices. Then the uterus also they can open into this canal in the interior. This uterus they can open into that cervical canal in the interior. Then that cervical canal it is open into the vagina, that is the interior orifices, and then in the exterior orifices. Okay, then this cervical canal along with the vagina forms the birth canal. After the child they can develop inside the uterus, then they can come outside through this cervical canal through the vagina. It is coming outside. Childbirth they can occur. Okay, the next, the wall of the uterus has 3 layers. This uterus wall it is made up of 3 layers of tissues. The outermost membrane it is known as, okay, it is known as the perimetrium. It is known as perimetrium. The outermost serous layer, that layer it is known as the perimetrium. Then in middle it is highly vascular, thick muscular layer, that is known as the myometrium. Inner, middle. Okay, myometrium. And then after this next interior it is very close to this uterus, that is known as the endometrium. Outermost region perimetrium, then middle region myometrium, then inner region it is known as the endometrium. This endometrium it is involving in a number of cyclic changes during the menstrual cycle. That process it is occur inside the uterus. So that time this endometrium it is involving in a number of cyclic changes. Okay, then after this myometrium mainly it is involving in a strong contraction during the childbirth. When the child it is coming outside this canal, that birth canal, so that time this myometrium it is involving in a very strong contraction. Due to that contraction childbirth occurs very rapidly. Okay, can you understood, students? The next part that is known as the vagina. So this vagina is the large fibromuscular tube. This muscular tube they can extend from the cervix to the exterior. This cervix regions exterior, outside. So this is the female copulatory organ. Then the female reproductive system it is present in the external, outside of the body. External they can open through the vagina. So it is otherwise known as the external genitalia, or we can say vulva. External genitalia or vulva. This external genitalia, this part uterus they can coming outside. So this part, okay, this is known as the external genitalia or vulva. This external genitalia it is present in it is comprises of a for what, labium majora, then labium minora, and then in a clitoris. This part it is present in the vaginal region. Okay, it is a female copulatory organ. It is leads into the exterior. These 3 main parts are present in the external genitalia: labium majora, labium minora, and then in a clitoris. Okay, can you understood, students? This is the structure of a female reproductive system.